Okay, next, camaraderie. It's an old-fashioned word, I'm sure you know what it means. Comrade, friend, friendship, it has that kind of meaning. And it's probably the second most important next to commitment. And that's no accident, because you're a paintball team. That's what you're aiming for. And without camaraderie, forget it, it's a waste of time. And there's three areas, again, to camaraderie. And these are important areas because this is where most of your fallings out will probably be. So you need to be able to anticipate people falling out with each other. And the unit is no stranger to people falling out with each other. But thankfully, we've overcome all of these. Let me give them you. First of all, criticism. Criticism is so easy to give and it's so common, but it's always abused. Okay? The thing about criticism is the right to criticise has to be earned. Okay? The right to criticise has to be earned. It's very easy and very quick for people to just throw out the criticism, to call other players, to call each other down, when they haven't even earned it. Bad criticism, when abused, can really injure a person. It can be quite upsetting when you get criticised during a game or at the end of a game by some complete stranger or somebody you have no respect for, who's not your friend, and just feels like their opinion matters. A wise man, Dirty Harry, once said that opinions are like arseholes. Everybody has one, and that's true of criticism. Criticism has to be earned, and within your team you want a relationship that's built on good, solid criticism that is aimed at building the person up, not knocking them down. Okay? You're trying to build up team players, not knock them down. Okay? Don't expect someone to listen to your criticism after you've known them a week. Okay? It takes time. And there's a right way to criticise. There's a right way to say, look, we've just played that game. I think you could have done this better. Did you realise what you got? I find it a lot easier to just phrase things as a question. Just give it the whole Columbo. You may have heard of Columbo, the old school detective. Everything was a question. Okay? Pose it as a question. What do you think went wrong? What do you think the problem was? Why do you think we lost that match? Why do you think you got shot out? There's different ways, there's helpful ways of doing it, rather than just pointing the finger and going, why the hell did you screw up? And I see that a lot. I see that so often with teams. At the end of a round, as you're moving towards the safe zone, the masks are coming off and there's just abuse being hurled at each other. Yeah, it's just rubbish. This isn't teamwork. Okay, criticism should be used to build people up so they become better players. And if you're going to form a team, this is important in building each other up. It's important to be watching each other and in your head just thinking, how could that have been better? How could I have been better? Point that criticism back at yourself and say, talk to your team. Guys, how could I have improved that? I felt like I made a right hash of it. Okay. And a good team that's spent time together will be able to feed into each other and help each other to grow as players. Okay. I want to repeat that. Don't see criticism as your right. See it as something that you're going to earn when it comes to your teammates. You want to earn the right to criticise their work so that they listen to you and respect you, and likewise you listen to them and you respect them. Okay, so a great example is Chris Denby, who gets most of our stick, he gets most of our criticism, mainly because he's one of our best players. But when you're at the top, it's very easy to fall. And there's been a couple of times when we've had to kind of pull him in and criticise him. Now we've earned that right, I hope, and I hope he sees that as well. We've earned that right because we're friends, we're very close friends. And every time we've told him, he's took that on board and done something about it. If I didn't have that, if I hadn't earned that right to criticise, he could have just walked away from the whole thing. But he didn't, he's took it on board and he's become a better player because of it. Right, secondly, I'm starting to go on a bit, you may have noticed the time, but please be patient, this is all good stuff. Secondly, friendship, it's obvious, okay, but it's the one that's quite often missed. When you're forming your team and you're picking your players, Don't be picking them from people who live in the town 20 miles down the road. Okay? Sounds daft. You really want him, he's one of your best players, you play every so often together at your local site. He lives miles away. You're never going to spend time together. Don't expect this guy to become your friend. Okay? You're asking too much. You need to pick your team from people who you know who are local to you and who you know you can spend some time with. Why? At the end of the day, you're a team, you need to behave like one. Now when you watch the films, when you've heard of, perhaps you've got family who are serving in Iraq in the armed forces, the first thing that they talk about are the mates when they come back, the people that they're spending the time with. You're going to be playing paintball with the adrenaline running in a combat kind of situation. They're going to be your closest friends. You want to work on that. So when you finish paintball, it's all said and done, go for a pint afterwards. Go and debrief each other. Okay? Talk about the good bits, have a laugh, have a chat, build on the team. It doesn't have to be cheesy, it doesn't have to be forced. You don't have to make this event happen. It should just come naturally. It should be just natural. I shouldn't even have to explain this to you. It should be something you do. And chances are, if you're thinking of forming a team, you're already doing this. Okay? Chances are your team are sat round you next Saturday night while you watch a film, while you're out in the pubs, the clubs, whatever. Okay, chances are you're doing this already. These are the people who are going to make up a good team. If you've got members of the team who aren't doing this, you're going to really struggle 6 months down the line. You're going to find that there's division, people feel left out of the group, and on. So I don't have to say too much about that. This is just obvious, and it's foundational. So get on with doing it, spend time together, and work on those relationships. And the last one on camaraderie is selflessness. Okay, it's the opposite of selfishness. And this is where your main goal as a team player is to build up the other members of the team, and they likewise do the same. So your job is to lift them up, not push them down so you can get higher. Okay? True, cheesy but true, there's no I in team. Okay? If everyone in your team is lifting the other up, you're all going to rise together. That's the best way. You know me, I'm a Christian. Jesus had a lot to say about this in the Bible. He said the greatest person is the servant of all. Okay? He says to his disciples, if you want to be the best, if you want to be the greatest, then you need to be the servant. Okay? And the servant's as low as it gets. And it reverses the whole thing on its head. You need to be lifting other people up, and they'll in turn lift you up. Okay? So you want to be putting your teammates' priorities first, not your own. You don't want to be talking about your own ego and how you can get name for yourself. You want to be talking about how you can promote them. Okay? And that's the best way. We find that in the unit. It works. We encourage each other, we build each other up. If you see the footage, if you see photographs, it's of everyone. There's no one person ever picked out. We try and get footage and film and everything of everybody, and they all get included. And that's our attitude, is that we're always thinking about each other. And that's the priority. It helps when you're on the field. It helps that when you're stuck, you know some guy's going to come and bail you out. He's not going to go off on an ego trip. Okay? So selflessness is one of the key parts of your role in the team. You start doing that and people will follow. And you'll find the team will work a whole lot better for it. Okay, that's part 2. Thanks again for listening. Please come back for part 3, which should be out there in the next week or so. Remember, you can find us on Facebook. Just search at the top the Unit Paintball Team, and you can find us on there and get involved with all the news and the latest information there. Or there's the YouTube channel, the Unit Paintball Team again, and on the blog www.theunitpaintball.blogspot.com. Please get in touch, please leave your feedback, and we'd love to see you out on the field. So hopefully speak to you soon.